What is up, everyone? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to another PE, Nintendo Switch, and gaming news video that I have here for you guys in my village today. Today, we do have some awesome information for you, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Ready at Dawn says that they have a lot of interest in Nintendo Switch development. So, as many of you guys know, Ready at Dawn, they were part of the developers behind the Order 1886 on PlayStation 4, I think. Well, let's go ahead and get into what the creative director over at Ready at Dawn had to say on the matter. Quote, "Every time a platform comes out, we always feel like there's something really cool that can be done with it. A huge graphical advantage, a huge technological advantage, a new way of interacting in games like VR does. Switch, I think, is the same kind of thing. We see it, and we see the market that they're trying to really kind of grab, expand, and also build. I would definitely tell you that, yeah, internally at the studio, there's a lot of interest for the Nintendo Switch. Now, we don't know whether they're actually working on their game when it comes to Deformers, because that's the game that they're working on right now, but we talked about how they were interested in it back, I think, last June, back when it was known as the NX. They were saying, yeah, we definitely have some interest in the NX, that's what it was called, so it's cool. If they were able to put something out, Deformers, I'm not sure how well that game is going to turn out, but the more support, obviously, the better. Western developers have been hard to kind of come by at this point. Obviously, they got kits probably later than Japanese developers did, so some of the big games as far as what they're going to be working on are going to be a little bit later after the success of the consoles went up, after they've got some more time to really polish out and see what they're going to be doing. But I do have faith that some will move over. As many of you guys know, if you follow me on Twitter, I talked about how people necessarily are kind of weird for port begging for Western games, especially the big Western AAA, and I'm using quotations there around AAA, for those titles, just because I don't feel that a lot of these companies really care too much about the Nintendo Switch when it comes to Western developers that develop those type of games. They're fine with PS4, Xbox One, and PC. But we still need to wait and see. Deformers definitely doesn't look like a title that's anywhere near like 1886 as far as what they were trying to do with that one and with Sony and all of that. All right, it looks completely different. Seems like a smaller budgeted title, maybe even self-publishing. So Nintendo Switch can definitely get into the fold on that one. But what do you guys think about Ready at Dawn's statements here? Seems like they're excited about the platform. We don't know if they have a Switch development kit, but I would think that they do at this point, especially considering their pedigree and what they've done before. Ready at Dawn also did, I think, some of the God of War collections for the PSP. So they are used to working with portables. They are used to working with different types of consoles, not just, you know, x86, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or PC, or anything like that. They are used to working on a variety of different stuff. So let me know what you guys think about this news in the comment section below. Alright, and moving on to the next article here. Nintendo Switch purchase lotteries are becoming a trend in Japan. This picture that you see right here, these aren't people lining up to purchase a Nintendo Switch. They're lining up for a chance to buy the Nintendo Switch. It's called a lottery line, where people line up in the hopes that they have the opportunity to purchase a Nintendo Switch. It's all the luck of the draw, guys, just luck, meaning that most people just get turned away and not able to get a chance to buy a Nintendo Switch. The lottery situations are popping up quite a bit around Japan. It's definitely becoming common, and it's all because of the stock situation that's going on. Now, I do want to talk about this just a bit because there was some articles and some information about Nintendo fighting against Apple and other manufacturers for parts, and that's why there could be some type of shortages or helping to aid the shortages of the Nintendo Switch. And this might be the reason why you're seeing these lottery lines when it comes to that article and what they're saying. Now, the reason why I didn't originally report on it, because it just seemed a little weird to me as far as the source in the article. Obviously, it was Wall Street Journal. Takahashi Mochizuki, I respect him quite a bit. He's a great person from what the interactions that I've heard from him online, and I'm not doubting that. It was just the article was just kind of like, I'm not sure. You know, I just wasn't really sure about it. But yes, it seems like Nintendo and Apple and other companies are just kind of fighting for parts. There's a shortage. So everything is kind of like in short supply when it comes to supplying for these parts, for these systems, and for all this stuff. This definitely shows that there's a lot of demand for the Nintendo Switch, I'll tell you that. So that's good. Every time that they get shipments in, they're selling out. So that's what you want to see. The games are doing well. Nintendo's still selling a lot of copies of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, 1-2 Switch, Bomberman. All of these games are still selling in Japan, and that's what you want to see. I think Nintendo's trying to do their best to make sure that they can keep things stocked around the world. But the Nintendo Switch, it's a very complex device, believe it or not. It's just not a hunking big piece of plastic with the x86 board in there, or whatever the case is. There's a lot of little things with the Joy-Cons, a lot of individual motors, a lot of stuff that you have to do to manufacture and process and put this thing into motion. So I can see why, with how big the sales are, especially in the US, because Nintendo needs to make sure that the US is stocked more than anywhere else, especially here in the US. Getting those units in and be able to just make sure that customers can have them has been a problem, has been an issue for some. But as the months have went on, I've seen that more and more people who couldn't get a Switch are finally getting one. So I think that it's going to improve, but at the same time, GameStop even reported like, hey, they think that the supply, as far as shortages, are going to continue throughout the rest of the year. So it's definitely going to be a hot selling item, and this summer it's even going to get hotter when you have ARMS, you have Splatoon 2, you have Monster Hunter in Japan. So it's definitely going to get big here, and I think a lot of these people are lining up because of that Monster Hunter announcement too. It's interesting. Hopefully the situation can get better, but overall you have to be happy, at least as far as from Nintendo's perspective, that you have a system that's continually selling out, unlike the Wii U and unlike the 3DS. Alright, and moving into the last article here, Fire Emblem Warriors developers on the game's inception, choosing characters, bond conversations, and more. Now, a portion of the Famitsu interview with Hayashi Yosuke from Koei Tecmo Games, Yokota Genki from Nintendo, and Higuchi Masahiro from Intelligent Systems. On the game's inception, Hayashi had this to say, quote, "That's why at the time we were in coordination where we couldn't talk about it, despite wanting to talk." Laughs. Originally, the thought that realizing a Fire Emblem Warriors would be interesting came from Koei Tecmo, and when we brought the project to Nintendo, the talks became, let's make this on the new console, and we proceeded with rapid strides. The new console, of course, now refers to the Nintendo Switch. Yokota had this to say, quote, "When we received the proposal, I remembered giving an immediate reply of, 'It's good.'" Higuchi responded with this, quote, "After that, Nintendo sent the talks to us. Our company also got hyped, like, that sounds interesting." On the game's direction, Hayashi had this to say, quote, "First of all, what we decided from the beginning was to make a Warriors game that can be enjoyed by Fire Emblem fans." Yokota responded with this, quote, "There are also many titles in Warriors series, and there are also infinite variations in directions, but we had always been discussing with Koei Tecmo Games on what is the Warriors desired by the fans of the original works. We've been making choices to adopt or reject features one by one, such as wanting a system from the original works, Fire Emblem, or a system that exists in Warriors series but is suitable for Fire Emblem Warriors. But at the time, we always preceded the talks by putting being enjoyable by fans of the original works on mind." Hayashi responded with this, quote, "The series has had a history this long, so each staff in the development team has very fond memories of Fire Emblem. That's why we had totally rough passages in discussing which features should be included." Now, there's actually a lot more if you want to read up on the rest of the stuff, but I just want to talk about how fast this went and the partnership between Nintendo and Koei Tecmo. This type of movement on a game is when you know that you trust each other. You look at what happened with Hyrule Warriors, you look at the sales, the season pass, that was probably the most successful Warriors game that has ever been created. And of course, Nintendo and Koei Tecmo were both happy. So when the thought came up like, hey, let's do Fire Emblem, I think that would be great, which Fire Emblem is easily a natural fit and a better fit, they were like, heck yes, let's get this thing moving. And that's why they were able to get this game out within the first year of the Nintendo Switch's release, which Hyrule Warriors came out in 2014 on the Wii U, which took some time, but this time they got the hardware that works better for it. They've got multiple different systems that they're going to be releasing it on with a bigger install base total when it comes to the Nintendo Switch and the new Nintendo 3DS. And by the time this game comes out, at the same point of time, the Nintendo Switch could possibly have a higher install base than the Wii U. I would actually say, yeah, it probably will have a higher install base at the same point in time from the date release. But I do feel that this is great. Obviously, Koei Tecmo is going to produce a fantastic game. I really liked Hyrule Warriors, and I think Fire Emblem Warriors is going to be really, really good. As you guys know, I'm super hyped for this game. I think it looks great. The graphics look fantastic. They're using some great animations, great models. The combat, even from what they showed back at the reveal event of the Nintendo Switch, was so good. Just showing Chrom slice things up, and then the recent screenshots even make things look better. So that has me super hyped, and this game has actually shot up my most anticipated list, getting near Splatoon 2, maybe even surpassing Splatoon 2 and ARMS when it comes to games that I'm excited to play on my Nintendo Switch. Seriously, it's went that far, especially with those screenshots. The game looks so good, but I'm a super Fire Emblem fan, so of course I'm going to really gravitate towards games like Fire Emblem or any type of Fire Emblem game that comes out. So let me know what you guys think about this news here, and make sure you check out the full interview in the description below. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description below. There you go, links over to our Facebook, Twitter page. Go and give us a like and a follow all of our social media. It really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the interwebs, in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon page, link in the description below. There we have all sorts of cool prizes for you guys. We're going to be giving away a copy of ARMS on the Nintendo Switch. Once we hit a certain milestone, I'll have exclusive videos that I'm still working on for you guys, like the ninja training video. We have live streams and cool rewards such as Discord voice chat for my live streams, entries for giveaways, and so much more. So check out the Patreon page and support PE Live and PE Arena right here on PlayerEssence. Also, make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you ninja for the next video. Peace.